Back here on Sports Talk as we continue right now, 21 past the hour. I'll tell you right now, I've had some great requests over the years, but I'm excited about this because very rarely do I get the opportunity to make birthday shout-outs here on Sports Talk. But thanks to Elisa, she wrote in and told us about her dad, Rudy. And Rudy is celebrating a milestone birthday today. I don't want to tell you how old Rudy is, but let me just say this. It is a milestone birthday today. And he has been listening to this show for a long time. In fact, what Elisa tells us is that he used to pick her up from her grandma's house and listen to this radio station on the way home from Scenic Drive and during every other car ride, like for the last 20 plus years. So I love that. Elisa says that Rudy has us as his number one preset on his car radio. They listen every day. He went to Mexico State, so he's a huge Aggies fan. I found out he golfs a lot. And I also found out he's a big, big Cowboys fan. So that is great stuff. I had the chance to talk to Elisa for quite a little bit of time today. And she was telling me all about her dad, Rudy, and how great he is, and how much she wanted us to just spend a couple of minutes talking about him and wishing Rudy a very happy birthday. So, Rudy Pena, if you're listening, which hopefully you are right now, happy birthday from all of us here at Sports Talk. We wish you many, many more. And most important, thanks for listening to us all these years. Thanks for forcing what then was your very young, have us on the radio with her. And then she grew up, and now she's a grown up, and she knows the station, she knows the show she listens to, and she did a great job of writing in and telling us all about you. So we appreciate it. I'm already working on trying to get a hold of Mario Mocha at New Mexico State to get you a little care package as a special birthday gift, since you are a grad of 76. And thank you for tuning us in all these. It almost reminds me of a long-distance dedication, which Casey Kasem used to do back when he was doing the countdown, when Casey was still alive and doing America's Top 40 every week on the radio. Did you ever? I don't know. You guys might be young for that. I'm just looking. I mean, listen, Alberto, you didn't even know who Dan Rather was yesterday. So the truth is, I mean, the chances of you and Plundo knowing who Casey Kasem was and listening to those, even though they still play those old countdown shows on another station in El Paso and on some of the other retro shows. Do you guys have any idea who Casey Kasem is?
Yeah, like when I see his face, I like recognize it.
Okay, so you recognize his face.
Yes.
He also has one of the most iconic voices. Do you know? I don't know if you know this piece of trivia. He voiced Shaggy on the original Scooby-Doo.
Really?
Oh yeah, he was Shaggy on Scooby-Doo. So if you ever grew up watching the Scooby-Doo cartoons, especially the original Scooby-Doos, that was Casey Kasem was Shaggy Doo. That's right.
Wow.
So there you go.
That's kind of hard to believe, but I mean, when you have a good voice, I mean, you need to take your talents over to cartoon as well.
Yeah, you do.
Blessed to you.
He had one of the best voices ever. When you think about that, iconic. I mean, certain people, you just grew up with them in your lives, and that was Casey. And he used to do the long-distance dedication where he would always tell a story, and he would play a song and dedicate it to somebody who wrote the article, wrote the letter. That's kind of how I feel. We're not playing a song for Rudy, but we're giving him a birthday shout-out here on Sports Talk at 25 past the hour as we continue. So, once again, excited about that. Thank you for listening. And I hope this milestone birthday is the best you possibly can have. And, we'll work on hooking you up with some goodies as well for that. So thank you very much, Rudy. All right, 25 now past the hour as we continue here on Sports Talk. 505-6009, that is our telephone number. I'm looking at the NFL schedule after yesterday's release. And I know I read this. I heard you read the story about the NFL trying to apologize for putting the Jets on so much. I thought that was hilarious, where basically the guy who runs the schedule for the NFL Mike North, the vice president of broadcast planning, said that the Jets owe us one. So, yeah, it's an awful lot of primetime games early in the season. And by the way, this is also really interesting because as a Jets fan, I always think about, is this the year I should get the NFL Sunday ticket again? And then I'm like, well, they're going to be on ESPN the first Monday against San Francisco. Then they're going to be on week 3 Thursday nights. Then they're going to have the opportunity to be on the NFL Network Sunday, October 6th in an early morning game against Minnesota from Tottenham. After that, they're going to be playing on a Monday night, week 6, against the Buffalo Bills on ESPN. So you think about that. They're on, and then they got the Sunday night game, week 7, against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Your Steelers, both of you, because for some reason you guys both have the same team you like, and it's the obscurity of the Steelers. The point is, guys, and then even week 9, they're on prime time against the Texans on Prime Video. Like, they are all over national TV and streaming television. So, as a Jet fan, I mean, what's the point? Why would you go out and get yourself the NFL Sunday ticket if you can watch them almost every single week on national television or one of these streaming services?
Yeah, I don't think that makes a lot of sense, and it doesn't incentivize you to do that. So if I were you, I wouldn't think twice, and I wouldn't do it until I absolutely needed to. And like we saw what's going on. NFL's got some games on Netflix next year, so things are heading in a weird direction, and it's not a fun one. So yeah, I mean, save this money this year, because next year you may need to get 3 or 4 things just to watch your favorite team.
Well, first off, they're playing on Netflix on one day only. And that's Christmas Day, Wednesday, December 25th. And there's 2 Netflix games, Chiefs-Steelers, Ravens-Texans, okay, on Christmas Day. Those are your Netflix games for this upcoming season.
If you have the basic Netflix package, do you get the games? That's my question. The basic, cheapest Netflix package, do they get the games?
What do you think the answer is?
Maybe.
What do you mean
sports.
Maybe?
This is live sports. This is like a step up from the entertainment they have available on their site.
Listen to me, genius. If you subscribe to this plan at any level, or any streaming service, as long as you subscribe to the streaming service, you get everything that these things have to offer. So you will get on Netflix for the basic Netflix package those 2 games. But are you telling me that you're going to spend, like, let's say you're not on Netflix. You're going to, well, I guess you could try it out for a month, right? Try it out for a month in December, get the 2 games, and then if you don't like it, get out. You're out. You know, the one that's tough is Peacock. Peacock and Prime, because remember, the way Prime works is you buy Amazon Prime and you get a bunch of stuff with it. You know, I bought it so I can ship things for free when I bought stuff on Amazon, but they give you Amazon Video. They give you Amazon Music. They give you all these bonuses. But the whole point of buying Amazon was just if you shop a lot, you could just buy it and get free shipping every time you get Prime. It's kind of like Peacock. Okay, Peacock is one of those networks where if you like wrestling, you're gonna have Peacock because the WWE is on it. But you also get the NFL through Peacock if you don't have your HD antenna and want to watch it on a streaming service versus watching it over the air on Channel 9. So, I mean, it's just the way it is, guys. There's so many ways now, and they're granted, there are certain games that are Peacock only. The Packers-Eagles game, Friday, September 6th. That is a Peacock streamed game only. You cannot watch it on NBC. You have to watch it on Peacock. So, yeah, you look at this whole schedule, and I'm going week by week by week, and it's getting tougher and tougher to watch games unless you're a Cowboys fan and you know all Cowboy games in El Paso are going to be seen here unless they're on one of the streaming services. If you're a Jets fan and you realize that, hey, all these Jet games are going to be streamed and available. So it's interesting the way the NFL is now making their product available and how many different alternative streaming platforms they have in addition to the broadcast channels.
Yeah, they have a lot of options to watch their games. And you know what? Something we haven't touched on about this NFL schedule, though, is that towards December is they are really, like I saw, is they're really testing how much NFL people are willing to take in. I'll kind of just read it off for folks. Thursday, December 19th, they have a game. Saturday, December 21st, they have 2 games. A full slate on the 22nd. Monday, there's 1 game. 24th, the Christmas Eve, there's no game. But then 25, 26, 2 games on the 25th, a game on the 26th, and then 3 days later, a full slate for Sunday night.
Yeah.
So it's like a bunch of NFL, so it'll be interesting to see if people continuously tune in to primetime games around the holiday season, time after time, especially when you have so many games sandwiched in there in a short period of time.
That's a good point. All right. Hey, coming up at 5, Lane's back. He's coming in. Schoolyard Sports will drop. I believe it's 169 this week, so we'll talk to Lane, and we'll get his thoughts. I'm sure he's got lots of thoughts to talk about with the NFL schedule drop. Please, if you're listening and you're heading to the station a little bit, stop with the argument about how Kevin Durant's going to block a skyhook from Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. After last week, hopefully you're not going to try to go there again. It just doesn't. It's a waste. It's a waste of time and energy for you. You don't want to do that. So Lane's going to stop by. But since it is 33 past the hour, let's go right back to Michael Plundo. He's standing by and has a bottom of the hour Sports Center update.
Michael Plundo here with your bottom of the hour ESPN Sports Center update. Let's go out to some scores. Let's start out with baseball. The New York Yankees taking a 5-0.
All right, we got a lot to get to here on the program, coming your way live from the 600 ESPN El Paso, River Oaks Properties, Schoolyard Sports Studios. Adrian Broadus, as you can tell, is taking the day off. He's going to be heading out to Cool Canyon Nights. In fact, Adrian's going to try to do something we've never been able to do. And I'm so interested to see if this will work. He's taking the remote unit out there to McElligan Canyon, and he's going to test it to see if we can connect out there using a wireless air card. Now, for all of you that have ever been out to Cool Canyon Nights at McElligan Canyon, you know one thing. Most cell phones don't even work out there at the canyon. So I don't even have any idea if our air card will get signals. That Thursday shows potentially could be live from Cool Canyon Nights. Something we've always wanted to do, but we've never been able to do it because of the lack of cell phone signal out there at the canyon. So we'll find out later on if that's going to be a possibility, but that also means I've got Alberto Urueta, and he is with us along with Michael Plundo, and those two will be helping us through the next 3 hours with you here on 600 ESPN El Paso. Coming up on the forward to talking to Lane about the NFL and their 2024-25 schedule. We'll do that. I printed the schedule out. I have that week by week to talk about on the show. Also, we'll get a chance to do a little El Paso Locomotive FC in our 6 o'clock hour. As the Locomotive won 2-0 against Loudoun FC over the weekend because Brian Clarhott was serving a red card suspension. So John Burko was out there, and they sure enough took home the 2-0 road win. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about their jersey drop that happened last night. In fact, this jersey drop was such a big deal that Alberto left us in the 6 o'clock hour to go and be a part of this and see it firsthand. Now, I know you love tour jerseys. You're even wearing your throwback Pittsburgh Steelers jersey that looks like a prison uniform, but that's just because Giants are doing the exact same thing this year for the 100th anniversary. We'll talk about that with Lane later on the show. How did you like the Locos jersey drop? Are you a fan of that Sun City color that they unveiled yesterday?
Yeah, I think it kind of does really remind me of the Sun City. But, I mean, I won't be buying it because, jersey. And I think that the shorts are what I really want to get my hands on. I probably won't go for the jersey, but I'll try to get my hands on the shorts if they're available because I really like the way that the color changes on the shorts. But the jersey has a lot of great details. I mean, it's got the color, the sun rays on the front of the jersey. And then on the bottom corner of it has this mountain with the star. Mm-hmm. That was one of my favorite aspects in white. So it really pops. The white really pops. And then the logo is changed over to like the orange tone to really match and blend in with the whole jersey, so it looks really nice. I really liked it, and I think that all the fans at the district yesterday really enjoyed it too.
I'm just confused about one thing. You said I'm not going to buy the jersey because you know me. Well, I know you, and I know you're a jersey guy. So is it just that you have so many jerseys you can't just go out and buy every veiled, especially when you're saving your money to go buy framed Senior Day jerseys from athletes that want to unload them on Facebook before they return to UTEP?
I want to buy that jersey, the orange one, because I want to buy the white one, and then I try to get my hands on this orange one. So that's what I'm going to try to buy tomorrow when I head over to the Southwest University Park for their game. So
that's the storyline behind it. Now I understand the method to your madness. That's good.
Hard to understand. I'm sorry.
I know Michael Plundo was able to see that jersey yesterday when they dropped that out. What was your thoughts, Michael? What do you think of the jersey reveal?
I really liked it, Steve. I was impressed. On a scale of 1 to 10, I would probably give it a 9 out of 10.
Oh, 9 out of 10. I mean, 9 out of 10 is that's a high mark. That really is. And the fact that you said that, you could see yourself in it, that's big. So between you wanting to get the jersey and Alberto wanting the shorts, I feel like Locomotive FC hit a home run on this one. Don't you think they knocked it out of the park?
Most definitely.
What do you think about it?
You know what? I liked it. It's different. That's the best way to put it. They've been so predominantly blue ever since they launched with the white, which I like. I'm probably my favorite color of all the Loco jerseys is the kit. And just maybe it's because it's simple, it's clean, and it just looks really good. But you know what? I mean, I thought they pulled this off. I really do. I feel like that jersey looks good. It accomplishes what they set out to do, and considering how popular that color is with UTEP over the years, I feel like it'll do well. In fact, I was thinking about this because I was at the ballpark last Sunday on Mother's Day for a Chihuahuas game, and somebody was walking around with the UTEP Chihuahuas baseball jersey that they came out with either a year or two ago, and it looked really good. And I'm like, you know what? There's something to be said for these orange jerseys that people wear that they might not be UTEP jerseys, but they still have that same type of feel to it.
I get you, but you know what? You when you referenced the Chihuahuas UTEP jersey, my mind went there, and I didn't really like that jersey, and I'll tell you why. Let me tell you this. I feel like that they had an opportunity to release a really nice throwback jersey that kind of that was like an homage to the UTEP baseball team that is no longer here. And then you kind of release a really nice throwback one that says maybe on the front you go cream, all cream, and then you go in the front in cursive, maybe El Paso in cursive UTEP orange. And then orange belts, orange accents, or something like that. I would have liked a real throwback look. That's like this is to honor the UTEP baseball team.
I think UTEP should release a baseball jersey to honor their own baseball team and not the Chihuahuas. Last I checked, the Chihuahuas don't. You know what? They've paid homage by going color scheme, but to be honest, that's a UTEP thing. UTEP should release a throwback look to their baseball jerseys and sell it at the bookstore, and so that would miss that look can have an opportunity to own that and show that off.
Yeah, I think that'd be a great fundraising effort. But you know what, though? I could talk all day about different UTEP apparel items that I could dream up and wish of releasing. And I could literally list historic reasons why I think this item right here, and it's no point because it's not really going to happen, right? Their apparel is really limited just because I feel like the size of the school. So it's unfortunate, but whenever I find stuff, I get my hands on it.
Do you know, like 15, 20 years ago, I forget what year it was, I'm at Marshall's one day, right? And I'm looking around, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I just see this gray flannel UTEP baseball jersey, button down. And it's like that 50s and 60s flannel look with UTEP across the chest. and like a number 9 on the back. It was like the most random jersey I've ever seen. It's a great-looking jersey. And it probably is one of those jerseys that was, A, never worn, and B, I don't even know, it was something I hadn't seen before. And there's something to be said about that. There really is. So, yeah, I'd love to see UTEP, especially now that they've started to become more aggressive with jerseys. I mean, let's be honest. You couldn't find jerseys, you couldn't find hats, you couldn't find shirts, you couldn't find anything. Now, at least, they're starting to really, give you opportunities and options. They've got the replicas. They've got other designs and things like that. So, yeah, I would love to see, and if you're going to do it right? Like, go back in the media guides, look at photos, look at what was once worn during games, and put some kind of replica together. Makes it look like it was something that they used to wear back in the 60s or 70s or early 80s before they killed the program.
Yeah, I think that would do really well. And look, obviously, you're talking to someone who worked at 3 years at a Lids, at a Fans, that sold jerseys and hats, that was like super busy. And the Rockets' success too, they were good when I was there, so I know what it is to like run a busy store. The problem is, I think that's just, I don't think it's going to happen, but yeah, I mean, I've seen the media guys. They used to run with like a beige look, and I think either said University of Texas at El Paso or just El Paso in orange in cursive, and that cursive look has come back in recent years.
It has.
You've seen a lot of basketball programs even go with the cream and then a cursive look on the front with their colors. It's a good look, but I mean, there's just so much apparel I think that UTEP could release right now and
100%.
do a good job. Another thing I could say is, if another way to do it right, in my opinion, is you organize, you do the right research, you create this jersey to the nicest degree. You make it as nice as you can, and then you only release 100. Is it right? You create a lot of hype around them, and then you release 4 jerseys each that only have 120 available to the public.
It's not a bad idea.
And then you release them for a hefty price because there's only 120, right? And then you create that hype. I feel like that could be good. Or also you can mass produce them and get them out, get your brand out. I think both of those alleys work, and it wouldn't hurt to explore both of those alleys.
No, it wouldn't. That's a good point. I mean, like, take, for example, the Sun Kings, right? I mean, you can actually buy a Sun Kings replica jersey for $225 on Ebbets Field Flannels. And I believe that MLB owns the Sun Kings jersey, or potentially that jersey is also either owned by Ebbets Field Flannel. So we haven't seen that yet for the Chihuahuas. I'm sure they would love to have Sun Kings throwback night, and maybe they'll eventually get that. But like, that jersey's available. You can get it. I mean, they've recreated what the 1967 El Paso Sun Kings looked like, and you got to spend some cash because it's Ebbets Field Flannels. Those are all expensive jerseys to go online.
Yeah, and you know what? Talking about Ebbets Field, I kind of know a little bit about them because I'll tell you what they produce. They produce arguably the highest quality throwback replica stuff in the business. And look, UTEP, it doesn't hurt for UTEP to, in my opinion, go to them on hands and knees. This is what I would do. On hands and knees, here, let's create high-quality pieces of clothing with the UTEP apparel on it, the UTEP brand on it, and let's sell those for top dollar like you sell all your other stuff, but make it be top quality, and that'll really do the brand well. Why? Because not only people from El Paso will buy it, if it looks good, it's top quality, people from other places will buy it, and they'll start wearing it as well. They don't care what UTEP is. They don't care what Texas Western is. They just know that the orange and navy, that's cool, and that they want to wear that orange and white. They just look cool.
Like, they've got this picture of Andy Cohen wearing this crazy-looking UTEP baseball jersey where it was like an old-school jersey, and on the right side there's just a U and a T in like block caps, and then on the left side it's got El Paso in script. Like, it is the strangest looking jersey, but that's what they wore back in the 60s. And there aren't too many photos of UTEP from those days. There's very few things that actually exist online to even see what they wore. So anyway, all right, listen, that's enough of that. But it's a good start to the show today. And by the way, I want to thank, completely off topic, by the way, I want to thank Robert Maldonado from Bluebell dropping by the radio station earlier. He came by, brought a case of their brand new A&W root beer float favorite ice cream that just dropped today. So thank you for that, Robert. It was good to see you. We gave Robert a little bit of a tour of the studio. He got to meet Adrian for the first time, and appreciate that. Robert's a friend of the program from Bluebell, and thank you, Robert, for doing that for us. That was very nice, and I'm sure that many people here at the radio station will be thrilled when they can enjoy some of that. Appreciate that. Thank you very much, guys, as we keep things moving right now. 35 past the hour, 505-6009. I'm checking out Twitter and X, and here we go. This one comes in from El Paso Visuals Deportivos. Valid question by Alberto about Netflix's basic plan having the NFL games, Steve, because I have Apple TV, and to watch the messy MLS matches, you have to upgrade / pay a lot more. Well,
yeah, I mean, companies are always looking to squeeze extra dollars out of you, so that's why it would be smart to be like, if you want these live sports, which are not movies and series, pay us $5, or throw us an extra $5 of the month or something.
Yeah, but you only get this 2 games on Christmas Day. It's not like you're getting a year's worth of games. True. You're getting 1 day's worth on Christmas. How many fans are going to be? I guess they're home on Christmas Day anyway, so they'll probably be watching. But just out of curiosity, let's do a little mini poll here. Do you subscribe to Netflix?
My parents do.
So you have it through them?
No, I don't have it. So now I live here.
So you don't have
it?
No. Okay. What about you, Michael? Netflix, yes or no?
I do got Netflix, so I'm looking forward to that Chiefs and Steelers Christmas game. That could either be a really good Christmas or a really bad one. No in between.
So we have it too. In fact, the way it works is this, okay? And I believe somebody told me there's a T-Mobile iMessage down, like they're down right now. I don't know. I've sent a couple of messages during the show, and it takes a little extra to get them through than it normally does. So if you're a T-Mobile subscriber, you might have to bear with us. But here's the deal, right? So when I switched a year ago, all these perks started coming in, like the MLB TV package. You get that every year because as long as T-Mobile is subscribing through Major League with baseball, they give it to you. They give you Netflix. They give you Apple TV. They give you Hulu. They give you all this stuff. So, it's kind of nice is that nowadays these cell phone companies got smart, and a lot of them are bundling these subscription basic services in as added bonuses for going and switching services. And you know what? I mean, hey, if you can switch and pick up 2 or 3 of these things in the process, who cares if you get commercials or not? If you're not paying a bill, that's a great deal. So that's what's happening a lot is, all these different cell phone providers have different companies and different streaming services that they work with, and some of them will throw those incentives at you. One year, I didn't even pay for MLS TV because T-Mobile was offering it up through Apple TV. So who knows? But I guess what I'm trying to tell you is if you shop around and you see what you want to get, a lot of them nowadays they've found a way to incorporate extra perks to make it better.
Yeah, I think you're talking about T-Mobile Tuesdays, right? Because last summer during the Leagues Cup, which Bravos, they competed in that. That was their first international cup ever. If a little tidbit there for you guys, they hadn't competed in an international cup there. But T-Mobile Tuesdays through Apple TV gave me the Leagues Cup games for free, the entirety of them last summer. That was so cool. I would come home and put on a game. I learned what it is to truly live life, and it was comfortable, and you didn't have to worry about ads or anything. It was just perfect, and you could even pick who narrated it. You could pick like local rate, so it was really cool. Unfortunately, that was just a little gimmick they had, but yeah, they do have a lot of incentives for you to sign, so there is a lot of way for people to save money. It's just when people don't go for the sales, that's when you can get taken for a ride, in my opinion.
Here's what Adrian said at Enemy Win the number 3. Steve, as long as there's a bar in town that guarantees to show every football game, I'm good. Do you know which one? That's a good point, by the way. And I'm happy that Enemy Win 3 brought this up. Because the truth is, we are so spoiled now, right? We want it in our living room. because we don't want to get off our lazy asses and go someplace to go watch a game, which, truth is, we go live at the District all the time, and it's a great place to watch. They've got games all the time. I'm live on Monday Night Football at Border City Ale House. They've got all the games. There are plenty of very good sports bars in this city and everywhere, and they have the games. So the point is that if you don't subscribe to the Sunday Ticket, but you know what? You don't mind getting out and relaxing for a few hours and enjoy some great food and some cold ones or some nice adult beverages, hey, that's a great way to do it too. You can go to a sports bar and watch the games there. It's a nice alternative.
Yeah, and you get a nice little crowd ambient going, and people get excited. If you go to different, maybe even the fan club bars, you might get a full crowd and a full cheer and a full crowd cheer, like a full chant going. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely better to go out and watch it amongst friends. But, yeah, I think that on-demand streaming has spoiled us to the point where we want to watch the latest movies at our house. We want to watch all sports also at our house for free. And that's just not a reality as the way things are right now, unfortunately, right? But soon maybe that will be a reality. I just remember back when a lot more of these things were free.
Look what Major League Baseball's doing right now. They're taking ballpark food and they're making it available for people to buy. They're calling it Ballpark Bites. So if you want to get a hot dog or a Philly cheesesteak sandwich like you can at the park, like these specialty type of foods, now you can actually order it here on an app and they'll deliver it. Or you could go pick it up. Like that's what we're dealing with right now. We're in the convenience era, guys, where everybody's trying to make it so convenient you never have to leave your house to do everything.
Yeah, and you know what's a perfect example of this, and this is just a little off topic, but Uber Eats and stuff. You get Uber Eats and everything you order through systems like that, you're underpaying for the delivery of your food, and that's how it is now. We just everything we want it at our house immediately, and I want it the next day. I don't care if I ordered it 6 hours ago. I want it in the morning when I wake up. So there is this instant gratification that society it just kind of leans heavy on right now. So, yeah, I understand people, but I also look when you flip the coin of, no, I don't want to go out, I don't want to spend money, I want to watch it at home and drink water and understand that, but also you're going to have a harder time getting access to games.
Depends on how much money you want to pay.
Yeah, and some people, I mean, if you don't want to go out to spend money at a bar, I don't think you're going to want to get 3 or 4 streaming services to get all the games you want. And even then, doesn't MLB have blackout dates that even if you have the MLB ticket, you still don't get the game?
Depends on who you want to watch play. So, like, if you want to watch in El Paso a game against the Rangers or the Astros, those games will be blacked out.
Why?
Because we're in Texas. It could be worse. Yeah. If you are living in Las Cruces, not only are the games against the Astros and Rangers blacked out, but the games against the Diamondbacks are blacked out. So now if you live in Cruces and you have MLB TV, you cannot watch any game featuring the Astros, Rangers, or Diamondbacks. In El Paso, because you're in the state of Texas, they allow you to watch Diamondback games. But if you're in Cruces, nope, you don't get those either.
So how do you get access to those games?
Well, you hope that you have maybe on your cable or subscription service you get the Arizona and Texas channels that put the games on. That's the only way you can do it. Like if you don't have or you go with one of those illegal apps and try to get it that way. I mean, there aren't a ton of options, guys. You just have to figure out how you want to play that. So that's the thing. But it's difficult because to me, if you're paying a premium to watch games, there shouldn't be any blackouts. You should get them all.
Exactly.
If you're spending good money for the whole season, you should not have any game against any team blacked out. It should be unlimited, no blackouts. But that's how I would do it if I was running the show.
Yeah, me too. And it's sad, really, when you think about it. People pay all that money, and I couldn't imagine living in Las Cruces. You wouldn't be able to watch like all the closest teams. That would drive me insane.
Yeah.
And I would be calling the MLB ticket to no avail, right? But yeah, I mean, you really have to be careful where you spend your money. I just learning that now, I have no intention of buying MLB ticket because those are kind of the teams I want to watch, right? The local teams. I want to talk to my dad about the Astros and such. So yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
all right.
It's difficult to watch all the sports nowadays. So
not easy, guys. Not easy. But and it's getting more and more expensive. That's another thing. I mean, if you really want to watch everything, right, and you don't want to, and you want to just have have all the access for all the different sports, it's going to cost you a fortune. It's going to cost you about $1,500, to $2,000 a year with all the subscription services and all the packages and everything else. So yeah, it's not cheap watching sports on a subscription basis. Now, you could do something else, which is follow your team. And if you want to just watch your team play and nobody else and get all the games your team, then it's a little less because then you get a discount because you're only watching one team and not every game. But it just depends on how you want to do it. So, yeah, I understand. All right, look, I got to get to a break. 45 past the hour here on Sports Talk. 505-6009, our telephone number as we continue. It's 600 ESPN El Paso. Back here on Sports Talk as we wind up hour 1 of 3 today. Jeez, I am killing myself right now with my headphones. You know what I did? I didn't want to tell you. I'll tell you that story during the break. I thought I thought it was something that was done by someone else, but no, that was yours truly. Anyway, okay, wrapping up hour 1 of 3. We've got Lane Frank here. We're going to get a chance to talk to Lane. I think it's 169 that drops tonight, if it hasn't dropped already. Maybe the audio's dropped and the video will drop in just a little bit. Excited about that, so we'll have a chance to talk to Lane. We got El Paso Locomotive FC coming by in the 6 o'clock hour. Adrian's out at Cool Canyon Nights tonight, which, by the way, if you have not been out to Cool Canyon Nights, what are you waiting for? It is a terrific night to enjoy McKelligan Canyon. We've got Dusty Lowe tonight. They always do just such a great job with us. So if you want to go see Dusty Lowe and you haven't been out to Cool Canyon Nights, you need to make it a plan. And it was nice this morning. It rained for a little bit. It was cool outside. I didn't even think there was even rain in the forecast. It just came out of nowhere. And I know there were some people worried that, McKelligan Canyon might have gotten too much water for tonight's show, but no, they're going to be okay. So happy to do that. And if you're listening to us and you're heading out to the canyon, have a great time and tell us how the show's going to be. If you're not, well, then you're in store for a fun treat coming up next. Lane is here. He is going to talk about the NFL schedule. I am excited to get his takes on this. I'm going to get Lane's thoughts on the New York Giants 100th anniversary red throwback jerseys that they unveiled today. We'll do that. We'll get his thoughts on the playoffs and the NBA, the NHL, baseball, the Hawks winning the NBA lottery, his reaction to that. So stay with us. We got a ton to talk about with the host of Schoolyard Sports, and it's all coming up here on 600 ESPN El Paso. Who just knocked out SportsCenter, Michael Plundo, who will have it for us at the bottom of the hour, and Adrian Broadus, who's out live today at Cool Canyon Nights, checking that out with Dusty Lowe performing in a couple of hours. Happy for Adrian getting out. Steve Kaplowitz back with you, and as promised, here he is, the host of Schoolyard Sports. Lane Frank, episode 169, drops tonight. The audio has already dropped. The video will be coming here in just a little bit. Welcome back. How are you?
I'm great to be. We good?
Yeah, we're good. Well, I mean, can you hear yourself?
Yeah, I can hear myself. Great to be back. First things first, happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
We got a great show today.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm excited about that. In fact, let me ask you this, all right? So we got so much to talk about, but EA Sports dropping the cover today for College Football 25, that's a big deal, isn't it?
It's a massive deal, especially for a kid like me who loves college football and loves to play sports video games. I mean, I'm going to be glued to this thing. It's a great cover. Quinn Ewers, Donovan Edwards, Travis Hunter. I think we get the full reveal tomorrow. I'm so excited.
Did the did EA Sports get it right with these three on the cover?
They got it perfectly right. You couldn't get Shedeur Sanders on there. There really isn't that massive college football star right now that signals himself out as number one. It's their first time coming back in 10 years. It's good to get a few players on there, and they got the best three. Okay. Now, had Shedeur Sanders said, yes, you can use my likeness, would it have made sense? I say no, because the hate that they would have gone for, I mean, you could bring up stats. Shedeur Sanders has done this, and he's won 4 games. Once Travis Hunter, it's like, oh, this guy's exciting. He can be the number one pick. He's a wide receiver. He's a defensive back. I think people enjoy that more.
Okay. So as far as you're concerned, they did it right. They knocked it out of the park. And now tomorrow, what will happen tomorrow? Do we actually get to see what the graphics look like? Are they going to show us like a trailer of the games with the stadiums? Is that what's coming tomorrow?
I think that's what we're getting, and I'm so excited to see it. I mean, I want to play with Michigan in the Big House more than anybody in the world. I'm geeked about this game. And the worst part is, when it comes out on July 19th, I'm out of the country. I won't be able to play.
Wait a minute. Can't you get
subtle flex?
Yeah, that is a subtle flex. Where are you going to be on July 19th? Was it June 19th or July 19th?
July 19th.
Where will you be July 19th?
I'll be in Europe.
Okay, so here's the question.
My fault.
Here's the question. Before we listen, Alberto's already crying back in the control room for you. He is. I don't know if he's going to be able to handle the rest of the show
that's a good one.
because he's so upset and distraught about the fact that you're going to be in Europe and not able to play. Why can't you just? Well, no, I guess you can't. I was going to say you could always pack your PS5 and bring it with you to Europe, but you're probably not going to do that, are you?
There's no point in doing that. I'll enjoy the game when I get home. It's just a bummer because, I waited so long to want to play this game my whole life, and then when it comes out, I won't be able to play it on launch day.
When will you be able to play it? How long after launch day?
I guess 5 days, then I get back the 24th.
Oh,
play it in the 24th all night.
You'll be
fun there.
I'm sure you'll be fine.
Be all jet lagged playing it.
Will you be? Well, yes, you probably will. That sounds great. Are you the kind of person that can go on long binges playing sports video games?
I played for like 2 hours and a half yesterday. Now my mom didn't hear that. She wasn't there. Definitely didn't play for 2 hours and a half if she's listening.
Yeah, your mom would not be thrilled.
She's not listening. She's not here.
You don't think she's listening to the show when you're on? You don't think she's after all these after all these years she's not paying attention?
She's out of the country. She's probably asleep by now, out of the country.
Would your dad care?
My dad's listening. I don't think he would have cared.
No,
I think he knew. He just didn't care.
Okay, so
I play MLB The Show. I mean, you would have been good at MLB The Show back in your day.
You think so?
You're a big MLB guy. You probably would have been good at it.
You know what? I played a lot in college because this was when Sega was real big. Have you ever heard of Sega Genesis?
Kind of, but now we got bigger consoles.
Yeah, so in those days, when they had hockey, the best was when they had the hockey fights. If you won the fight, the person you knocked out would hit the ice, and then his whole face would be covered red in blood.
Yeah, you can't do that anymore.
No. And you know what happened? People were so upset about it that eventually Sega cleaned it up where when you knocked out the guy and win the fight, there was no more bloodstained face. And once that ended, the popularity of the hockey game went right down the toilet. People were like, I'd rather play the year earlier where you could still do that than feel like you've got the clean version of the game.
People enjoy it when things are different.
They do.
A video game I'm really enjoying right now, it just came out, Top Spin 2K24. So 2K made a tennis video game. They got great stars in there. They got Wimbledon. They got all 4 Grand Slams. Bunch of Master 1000 tournaments. I've kind of been glued to that game a little bit.
Top Spin is what it's called.
Top Spin 2K24. So the same company that makes NBA 2K, really the only good graphic tennis video game, and I like it. Simulation, it's great.
Is this the first true tennis video game that's come out that you've played, or you've played others before?
I've played others before, but this one really takes it to the next level because it's the same graphic level as an EA game or a 2K game because it's made by 2K.
So it's made by 2K. Can you play in all the same courts for the Masters or the majors? Can you play clay? Can you play U.S. Open in New York? Can you play Wimbledon?
You can play all of it, Steve.
Oh, that's fantastic. Do you play as yourself? Did you create yourself, or are you playing as somebody else?
I did start my career. I'm too lazy. I don't feel like building my guy up, and you can't really adjust his stats on your own, so I'll be playing with the pros instead.
Who's the guy you're going to play with?
I've been playing with Ben Shelton the most, the big lefty.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ben Shelton, big guy.
Are you a lefty?
I am a lefty, just like you.
That's very good. So, all right, you bat from the left side too when you go up to the plate?
I don't play baseball.
If you were to take a baseball bat in your hands and swing it, would you swing it from the left side or the right side of the plate?
I'd go left side, but I could be a mean switch hitter.
Oh, really? You could make contact from the right side.
I think I could be a decent switch hitter, but definitely left side.
Could you play tennis from the right side if you wanted to? Could you do the same thing?
Go ambidextrous?
Yeah.
I mean, there's some players who can do it.
If you did that, that would be amazing. If you're an ambidextrous tennis player, I would love to see that.
Some players are really good at it. I mean, if they can do it ambidextrously, hit 2 forehands, it's crazy.
But you're not one of them.
Not one of them.
Okay. And by the way, All right. Can we? I think we've got somebody that's out front. Can we please take care of the door, and that'll be good. We'll get them in. Don't worry. We'll get them taken care of. 9 past the hour. Lane Frank here with us for Schoolyard Sports. What is the newest episode consisting of? Give us a preview of what it's like.
Newest episode consisting of why the NBA draft lottery should not exist anymore. The top 5 fastest player in sports. A good did you know? A few other good things in there. Go tune in. Out now on all podcast platforms. And coming soon tonight, video platforms.
All right, listen. Let's talk about that topic right now. I don't want to give away your entire podcast of Schoolyard Sports, but you're saying why the NBA lottery should not exist anymore. Why is it a bad thing?
NBA draft lottery.
I haven't finished. Let me finish, please.
I thought you were giving me the opportunity there.
Almost. I'm asking you a question. You can answer and answer as long as you want. But why is it a bad thing that a team with a 3% chance of winning the lottery for the first time in their team history did just that? Talking about the Atlanta Hawks picking first.
Because about a week ago or even 2 weeks ago, Atlanta Hawks had dreams of a championship when they were in the play-in because you can win the play-in, you can go to the finals. The Heat were in the play-in last year. They made the finals. What makes you think the Hawks can't do that? For the Hawks to end up with the number 1 pick, that's blasphemous. That's wrong. The Mavericks had a 3% chance last year. Imagine if the Mavericks had Wembanyama right now and not the Spurs. Spurs wouldn't be a good team. Nobody else would be a good team. And the Mavericks would be easily winning an NBA title and a future NBA title with Wembanyama. It wouldn't make sense to do it in the NFL because think about it. What if, say, what's a team that has had a really bad year in the past few years and grabbed a quarterback? Let's say Arizona in 2019. What if they ended up with the number 9 pick and say a team that was decent that year, let's go with Jacksonville, that didn't have a quarterback yet. They had pick 9 in that draft.
Yeah.
What if they got pick 1? What if they stole that pick?
True.
Then they don't stay mediocre, and the Cardinals stay terrible. There's balance in the NFL. Jaguars have a terrible year in 2021. They get that number 1 pick for Trevor Lawrence. Easy. Don't see that in the NBA. I think we should. No need for an NBA draft lottery in the NBA.
Now, let's compare this to the NHL draft, okay? Because about a week and a half earlier, the NHL held their draft. The draft went exactly to plan. Just like the NBA, teams had a percentage chance of getting in the top 3. And if you look at that draft before the lottery even started, compared to how it finished up, it lined up exactly the way it was supposed to. There were no surprises. There were no teams moving up. Everybody is going to be picking in the exact same spot they were all projected to pick. But in the NBA, things are a little different. Now, you said it. Maybe, is this a knock on the lottery, or is this more of a knock on the fact that we have a play-in tournament and we're giving so many teams in the NBA an opportunity to try to get into the postseason and advance?
I think now that we have a play-in tournament, these teams think, okay, we can still make the play-in. We don't have to take fully, and then we can get that number 1 pick. I don't like the idea. I think it's okay to tank.
You're right, Seth? So you think it's okay?
Don't think it's okay. I think it's okay to tank. I think if you're having a really bad year, tank. Get that number 1 pick. But the NBA is not saying that's okay anymore.
You can't do that in the NBA. You can't tank because it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean you're going to get a chance to pick first. How about San Antonio? Speaking of the Spurs, look what happened to them. They not only are going to be picking once in the top 10, they picked twice because a trade they made, I forget the team, it might have been Toronto, falling out of the top 6, which means that the 8th pick will go to the Spurs in addition, I think, to either the 4th or the 6th selection. So they're going to have 2 top 10 picks to pair along with Wemby. Now, I've also heard there's a flip side to this, okay? The flip side is this particular year is not a good year for the draft. There is not a consensus number 1 pick that is a slam dunk franchise player the way Wemby is with San Antonio. So unfortunately for the Hawks, as they pick first, there is no guarantee the guy they choose will ever even have a chance to make an all-star game, let alone be the best player in the league.
No, they're comparing this to the 2013 NBA draft. You know what draft class was also compared to 2013? 2020. And that's been a great draft class. That Anthony Edwards, LaMelo Ball, Tyrese Halliburton, Tyrese Maxey, Emmanuel Quickley. Really good players in that draft class. So, think about it. There's not a number 1 guy in that draft class. Anthony Edwards turns out to be the best of them all. He was number 1 pick, and he's been great. Now, Alex Sarr might be the number 1 pick here. We've never seen that guy ever play basketball. Played in the France League, played in France. another France guy, Zachary Rousseau-Aker. He might go over the Spurs. They're just doing that to pair him up with Wemby. I think the Spurs' best plan, like you said, with those 2 top 10 picks, try to get back DeJounte Murray. Now, they might not want Trae Young from the Hawks. Get DeJounte Murray again. Get a great defender. Get a great point guard to play with Wemby.
And so, in other words, trade the picks is what you're saying. Trade them all.
Trade them. You don't have to trade them all. I mean, I think you just trade number 8 and get DeJounte Murray and pick someone with number 4.
Yeah, it makes sense. By the way, if it was up to you and you were the commissioner of the NBA, you were Adam Silver, okay? You would do away with the lottery and you would just base the order of finish on where you would select in the draft and you would just go from there?
That's exactly how I would do it. Great. NBA lottery's fun. Let's get rid of it, please.
Okay. And it's just because you don't like the fact. Or now, how about this? What if you're in the play-in game, even like in other words, if you're 7 through 10, then you don't have any chance to get into the lottery? How about that? So you still have the lottery, you just exclude all teams that are in the play-in tournament or the playoffs from having a chance to draft. How about that idea?
No, I don't like it. I'm not budging. I'm not budging. No lottery at all.
Just because you don't like the fact that teams with no chance win the lottery in the NBA.
There's no reason that the Detroit Pistons should fall from 1 to 5 back-to-back years. That's not how it should work.
Well, maybe win some more games.
They won 14 games this year, Steve.
Yeah, exactly.
I think at any point they would have gotten that number 5 pick. And if it's one thing if we can see the ping pong balls, this thing is rigged. I might be going on a tangent here, conspiracy theory. What makes you say this thing isn't rigged, the NBA lottery?
No, I mean, some people said it's been rigged since the beginning.
The NBA didn't want to see
the frozen envelope with the New York Knicks winning the 85 draft and drafting Patrick Ewing. You've heard that conspiracy theory.
The NBA didn't want to see Zion with the Knicks because they knew Zion wouldn't be this great. And he's not that great. They wanted to see Wemby on the Spurs because they had Tim Duncan. They're saying, oh, it's a cliche. Let's get to work out again. Who wants to see Wemby in Houston? Who wants to see Wemby in Detroit? No, let's see Wemby in San Antonio with the Spurs.
By the way, the Knicks haven't won a lottery since the Ewing draft. So if the lottery was as rigged as you say...
It's rigged.
Listen, if the lottery was as rigged as you say, the Knicks have for years been right there to win the first overall pick, and they've never won the lottery since then. Don't you think that if the lottery was really fixed, that they would have made sure the Knicks would have picked first overall after the Ewing draft?
No.
Why?
I really don't get why Zion didn't become a Knick, because it seems so great for the NBA to have Zion as a Knick. It's the probable outcome. It just seems like the NBA didn't want that. There was no reason the Pelicans to jump up from about 13-1 to get that number 1 overall pick.
All right, listen. Lane's here with us today. We got a lot more to talk about with him. 505-6009, our telephone number. Let's go to Charlie and get ourselves a traffic update. Back here on Sports Talk, back with Lane Frank, the host of Schoolyard Sports. Episode 169 drops today. Excited about that. Lane, if you're just joining us, wants to see the NBA lottery abolish. Get rid of that.
Gone.
Forget it. Just throw that thing away like this.
It's rigged.
Well, but you know what? Here's the thing. I'm curious about something now. Now that you've gone into this, okay? In your opinion, how much of sports is fixed? So we're saying the NBA draft lottery is rigged. So if that's how much out, like where does it stop?
Let me say this. I'm not one of those weird people that's like, sports are fixed. The Patriots, NFL did this to the Chiefs. Oh, NFL handpicked this. NBA does this. MLB does this. I don't think it's fixed. I think they make business decisions. Think about it. The Bears, Caleb Williams, get a very easy schedule his rookie year. They have a very good team that the Bears put around him. So the NFL is going to say, hey, let's give him a good schedule. NFL, they can fix their schedules a little bit to see who they want to win.
Okay. Now, along those
I'm not
lines,
a conspiracy theorist this stuff.
Along those lines, I have a copy right here. This is the 2024 NFL schedule. Week after week after week, I've been looking at this. First off, As a Giants fan, what is your takeaway of the Giants' NFL schedule?
The Giants' NFL schedule is almost as bad as those uniforms they dropped today.
Oh, I knew you were going to go there. So you do not like the 100th anniversary tribute unis. By the way, look behind you.
Look at the helmet.
Hang on. Look behind you. Look at what Alberto is wearing. It looks like the prison break jerseys from the Steelers that
he's
they are
got the
wearing.
Pittsburgh Penitentiary jersey on.
Yes, he is wearing the Pittsburgh Penitentiary jersey. I agree. And the Giants have just done the red and blue version of that.
And the Michigan helmet to go with it.
Yes. The Michigan helmet, which, by the way, apparently the Michigan helmet was worn by the Giants 100 years ago. So if we're going to go back in a time machine to 1925 or 24, that's the helmet we would see on the field.
I actually do like the helmet because I'm obviously a big fan of the winged helmet, but the rest of the uniform is awful, awful. You know what I wish they wore more than they wore it once about 2 seasons ago, and it was the game where Daniel Jones had 430 passing yards?
What's that?
The red pants.
You like the red pants?
I do like the red pants.
How about the old red tops they would wear? The actual red, they wore those red unis in the 80s. You don't like those either?
I'm not a fan of those, but I'm definitely a fan of the red pants.
Okay. Then are they wearing some like weird looking tan color pants with these red jerseys? What is that?
These jerseys are terrible, especially if you're wearing them in the winter. I mean, tan in the winter is going to look terrible.
So you think this could be the ugliest jersey ever created by the NFL?
It is so ugly. Not by the NFL, by Giants. It's ugly.
Yeah,
it is ugly outside that helmet.
Okay, so you hate it. I got you. By the way,
I didn't think it was that bad.
No, well, look what you're wearing. Of course you don't think it's that bad. It fits right into that color scheme what you have right now with that crazy looking, gold and black striped jersey.
The reason I like it, though, is because when you think about it, the NFL jerseys, they don't have any designs on them. If they might have something here, but they never have anything here. So now this attempt, like to have a vertical stripe, I don't mind it. I think it's all right. I think it's a more modern look. I like it. I like the patch. Look, if you sub those beige pants for either red or blue ones, it's a really good look.
I mean, okay, now let me just let our listeners know what the jersey looks like. Okay, it's a red top. It is a red top, and in the middle of the jersey, is the Giants blue with a white number and then like white stripes on the top and bottom of the blue section in the middle. And then they've got that, like you said, then they have like the tan pants with red and blue socks. And then they also have blue, like at the shoulder pad level with these jerseys. And then I do like the helmet. I agree there. The jerseys themselves, let me show this to your grandpa. This is for Jerry so he can see it. And maybe he'll appreciate this because he's here in the studio as well. Do you thumbs up or thumbs down, Jerry? What do you think about that jersey? Thumbs down. So just like you, Lane, your grandpa says this is a horrible jersey. I've got a feeling it's going to sell well. I really do. I think it's something that people are going to buy.
I mean, it's not as bad as the Alberto B movie jersey, but they're pretty bad.
They're calling this the 1933 jersey and the century red look. By the way, they really are going into they've looked into this jersey. This is the 33 jersey, and then they've got the 1938 helmet and the 1925 pants and socks. That's how this whole thing is working.
It's a weird-looking jersey.
Yeah,
I like the complex part of it. I think they're trying hard, and I like that.
All right. Well, listen. Is the team going to be terrible this year?
The team's not going to be that good this year, but there is some optimism. You got Brian Burns. One more year of Daniel Jones, everybody. Why didn't we select J.J. McCarthy? I'm still kicking myself about that as a Giants fan, but maybe there's hope. Devin Singletary, running back, who will produce more than Saquon Barkley will this year, which I'm excited about. A new and interesting receiving core. I want to see what Jalen Hyatt can do in year 2. Wendell Robinson coming back from an injury. It'll be an interesting receiving core. What's going on with Darren Waller? We don't know. Offensive line, always a mystery, but defense shouldn't be terrible this year.
Do you hate the fact that all these games are on so many networks and streaming services? Does it drive you crazy?
So, you want to hear something interesting?
I do.
To watch all the Panthers games this season, to have all those subscriptions, it costs $1,000.
Yep.
To go to all their home games this year, it costs $664.
So you would actually spend more money to stream the games and get them on your TVs than it would be to go and be a season ticket holder.
It's ridiculous. And I think a lot of people are going to start using illegal streaming sites if they're not already, like Stream East. I mean, I use that. A lot of people are using it, so that would be a way to sneak around it.
So when you use Stream East, if you're not careful, you're going to get some extra things on your device. So how do you avoid that when you're trying to find the games?
Just be smart about it. Stream East, don't click for any of the ads. Just watch your football game.
Is that what is that what you're saying?
That's my best tip right there. If you don't want to pay for your Netflix, Amazon Prime, what else do they have? Amazon Prime, Peacock, Netflix, ABC, ESPN, Fox, CBS, NBC subscriptions.
Now, I have been told, by the way, that there is something called MeTV.
What is that?
MITV. It's an app. It's based out of Mexico. $12 a month. You get everything.
Ooh.
Everything for $12 a month. So if you're going to do that, that might be the way to go, because then there are no limitations. And then it's a subscription service from Mexico called MeTV. MITV. $12 a month.
You know, I'm lucky I have all those streaming sites already, but if you don't, get that $12 a month subscription.
Yeah, I mean, most people can't spend $1,000 to try to watch football games. It's a lot of money. It's crazy that's what it's turned into these days.
Especially with what Sunday Ticket is now with Red Zone. I may have missed the Andrew Siciliano Red Zone. I don't love the Scott Hansen one. I was a big fan of the Siciliano one, but it's interesting.
If you lived in an NFL city, okay, would you prefer to go to all the games at home or watch them on TV or streaming?
I don't think being an NFL fan, going to a game is the most exciting thing. I'd rather watch my team for a little bit, watch the Red Zone, keep up my fantasy teams. I don't need to be glued to an NFL game. Now, for college football, that's different. That's a great environment to be in. NFL can be a little bit bland. I'd rather watch Red Zone, keep up with my fantasy teams.
Would you rather go to a Super Bowl party or be at the game?
So Super Bowl party or be at the Super Bowl?
Right.
Be at the Super Bowl, obviously, because that's a different environment. That's not just a regular game.
Okay. All right. I had to throw that out there. Same with playoff football. Would you rather be at a playoff game than watch it on TV?
I'd rather be at a playoff game than watch it on TV because it's not a full slate. You don't get that many games.
Yeah.
It's different. It's more competitive. Anything can happen. Any NFL Sunday, any team can beat anybody. Not in the playoffs, though.
I gotcha. If somebody gave you some tickets to watch an NFL game, would you take it or would you stay home and just watch the game on TV?
Well,
regular season game.
Okay, so depending on the game, let's say it's the Giants game, I'd take it. Maybe if it's a random game, let's go Panthers, Seahawks, I'm watching my Sunday ticket at my house.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, fair enough. You guys agree or disagree?
I kind of agree. I'm more about just the seats. Like you guys were talking about this yesterday. I'm more about the seats. I wrote in about it. It's like if I'm going to be in the nosebleeds, like my dad likes to buy them, I'd rather stay at home. So I don't want to see miniature figures all the way over there. I'd rather just watch it from home and you get a better view. Now, I'd rather dish out, get seats nice and close, and you can watch yourself a good game. What do you think, Plendo?
In 2017, when the Miami Dolphins played the Pittsburgh Steelers, I had the pleasure of going to that game, and let me just say that is the coldest game I've ever been to because that was -degree weather. My dad literally went to go buy a beer, and when he got back to the seats, it was already frozen. He didn't even get a sip of it.
Believe it. I believe it. Have you been to a Michigan game in Ann Arbor when the conditions are like that?
So I went to Ann Arbor November 7th and November 30th this year, and the November 7th game was a night game. That was brutal. And then November 30th, I couldn't feel my toes. Michigan, Ohio State, it was action-packed. I loved it, though.
So you felt that even though you couldn't feel your toes, you had to be there. It was the place to be.
You had to feel the action in the game, feel everything about the game.
Okay. Did you have good seats, or were you way high up in that one?
No, we had good seats. It was a great game. For football games, I'll say this. I don't like being down that low because it's kind of hard to see the full field. I like to be, say, row 30, row 35, row 13, row 10. That's where it gets kind of annoying because you don't really see that much. You see the sidelines, but you don't really see the game going on as much. I like to see how the play's going. Row 30, perfect for a football game.
How many rows do they have at the Big House?
About 900. No, I'm kidding. I think Big House might go row 72, but there's so many.
Okay, so in other words, if you had tickets and you were in row 72 for Michigan, Ohio State, would you just watch it at home, or do you feel like even if you're in the last row in the Big House, it's worth being there?
It's worth being there for sure.
Okay. All right. There it is. We'll come back more in a moment, but first, Michael Plundo is standing by. He's got a bottom of the hour Sports Center update. Here with us, Schoolyard Sports. Episode 169 drops tonight. Check it out if you haven't done so already. We've talked, EA Sports. We talked college football 25. We've talked NFL schedule drop. We've talked why he believes the NBA lottery should be abolished because it's fixed.
Gone.
Just like that. Playoff action. Knicks got a big win last night. They needed it. Let me ask you something, okay? From a playoff standpoint, you could be at any venue for any playoff game in all of sports. Which one are you taking and why? You only get one. Only one shot. Which venue and which team for the postseason are you going to?
This is such an easy question. It's Madison Square Garden to watch New York Knicks. It's Mecca basketball to watch the best team with the best fans, the most passionate fans, with the craziest fans screaming their heads off for a full game of basketball and win that game.
I disagree with you. Madison Square Garden to watch a Ranger hockey game.
That's fun too.
Describes that because then it's a different fan base. It is not it's a completely different fan base. In fact, I was there, so I know what that fan base is like. I was there a couple months ago because when you said screaming your heads off and all that, I feel like Ranger hockey is the way to go because Ranger hockey is more of a blue-collar crowd than Knick games.
You know, when you've got a deranged fan base screaming explicitives at a player who isn't even in that game, in that series, in the playoffs, that's when you know you've got the right fan base, and that's what Knicks basketball is.
Oh, you're talking about Reggie Miller.
I'm talking about Trae Young.
Oh, that too. Well,
I was going to say Ben Simmons.
I thought you were going to talk about
All
Reggie.
three work.
Reggie Miller was getting cursed at when he was just doing the game as an analyst, and he had been playing in 20-something years at the Garden. So
that's how, the Garden takes grudges, and I love that.
Rangers, by the way, are scoreless 15 minutes into Game 6 here in Carolina. If they don't win this, and they go back home this weekend to the Garden for Game 7, it is going to be Ranger fans are going to be beside themselves because they would have had a 3-0 lead, and Carolina would have then taken 3 straight. So the Knicks took care of business. They're shorthanded. What they've done this postseason is nothing short of phenomenal. The Rangers have no injuries. They have their whole team, and that is why they are making this much harder than it should be.
Job's not finished.
No, it's not.
Job finished?
Job's not finished for the Knicks either.
They got to go
back. They got to go back to Friday night's game in Indiana and try to make sure they don't come back to the Garden for Game 7 on Sunday.
You don't lose in the Garden for Knicks basketball. I'll say that right there.
Yeah, but you don't want to have to play Game 7. Not when Boston just took care of business against Cleveland and they're resting up and getting ready to take on whoever wins that series.
Knicks play bully basketball. Porzingis, his return to the Garden in the playoffs, that's going to be terrible for them, even though he's not playing that much because of injury. But still, this Celtics team will go down if they play New York Knicks. So
you do believe that the New York Knicks, if they get by Indiana, will advance to the NBA Finals?
It'll be a tough challenge. They'll need OG Anunoby. They'll need him at full strength, full health, but they'll get it done.
Okay. If that happens, who will they play out of the West with the series going on right now?
Ooh, so this is a good one right here. I think Thunder versus Mavericks is a great series, and I said whoever won last night will win the series. Dallas won last night. Interesting thing to keep an eye on, Kyrie Irving has been playing horrible in this series, about 9 points per game for their star point guard, but that's kind of getting overshadowed because they're winning. So I think they win that series. I think they'll play Denver because I think Denver gets by Minnesota in a really good series. They've gone back past them every time. These have been close series the past 3 years against Minnesota, and they won it every time. They get done again. They'll go up against Dallas Mavericks. I think in that series, the Mavericks get it done, and they advance to the NBA Finals. Will they play in New York Knicks? Don't have a prediction for that yet. It's just amazing to think the Knicks could be in this position and how great a position they are. I think last year they were fortunate to be in the second round. This year they're in a great spot. If
the Knicks play the Mavericks in the NBA Finals, you're going, aren't you?
Oh, definitely.
You will be in Dallas for those Knicks Mavericks games.
I'll be in New York.
Oh, really?
We'll go.
You're doubling down.
Yes,
You're like the heck with
Dallas.
Dallas.
Go to the Garden.
I'm going to the Garden.
I've had some luck in the Dallas arena recently. Duke Sweet 16 against Houston. They loved me there, but yeah, it was fun.
Let me ask you this: have you ever, in your lifetime, the 16+ years you've been alive, have you ever been to Madison Square Garden for either a Stanley Cup Finals when the Rangers played the Kings? You would have been old enough to go to that. I don't know if the Knicks haven't been to an NBA Finals since you were alive.
No.
So that doesn't count. What's the closest thing you've been to at Madison Square Garden for playoff sports?
Knicks-Hawks Game 5, 2021.
How was that?
Knicks lost that game, and they lose the series. Hostile environment, even though I loved it.
Okay, so that was what really sold you on everything.
Sold me on everything. I mean, I was a diehard Knicks fan. I've always been, but that season really brought me into it.
Gotcha. We'll come back. We'll wrap things up with Lane. Still more to talk about. Stay with us. Sports Talk continues. 600 ESPN El Paso. $47 past the hour as we continue wrapping things up here with Lane Frank. Still to come. We've got members of El Paso Locomotive FC. They're dropping by here to begin our 6 o'clock hour. Lane has Schoolyard Sports episode number 169 that drops. And also want to thank River Oaks Properties for sponsoring Lane's visit here and our studios at 600 ESPN El Paso. River Oaks Properties has some of the nicest shopping centers in all of El Paso, and they've opened up in Far East. They've opened up here on the west side and northeast, and most of these shopping centers that River Oaks Properties has, they're almost all full. But hey, if you are looking to move your business in and you want to be in a very high-trafficked area, all you got to do is contact the team at River Oaks Properties, and they can let you know how you can become part of their team and see your business start to take off, just like the Schoolyard Sports podcast has over the last few years. And now, as Lane mentioned on our show, he is getting ready to take his talents to another podcast company, which is going to make him a little, he's going to have to work a little harder. Let's be honest. He's not going to be able to just do it once a week like he's doing it, but I know you're looking forward to that, aren't you?
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it. Do a few more episodes a week. It'll be really fun to work with these people, I believe.
Know. When does that start?
So it really started about last week. That's when we finally got on their platform. But, we're going to wait a little bit to utilize all the tools we have over there. Really excited for the future, I believe.
Let me give the River Oaks Properties website out. It is ROPElpaso.com. That is ROPElpaso.com. And while you're on it, you can not only check out their properties, you can look at their new projects and everything else you need to retail space for lease or rent here in the El Paso area with River Oaks Properties.
I was over there at the headquarters the other day. Pretty nice.
Were you really?
Yeah, I was at the headquarters the other day. Nice spot.
Yeah. By the way, I heard there's not a bad sports memorabilia collection at the headquarters.
No, definitely not bad. They got nice museum quality, you could say, sports memorabilia. The best in town.
Are you a sports memorabilia collector yourself, or do you just leave that to the rest of the family?
I think I'll leave that to my grandpa. He'll see something, he'll be all over it, even though they're saying, Jerry, you bought it 10 times. You can't buy it again. Well, he'll get it. He'll sell it. He'll do anything with it. He'll buy anything that says Yankees on it. Juan Soto, Aaron Judge, Ohtani, don't even bring it up. Michigan, anything, he'll buy it.
Wait a minute. Ohtani, don't even bring it up.
No, I'm saying Ohtani, he hears anything Ohtani, it's already at the office.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Do we have, Ohtani jerseys, bats, all that stuff?
We got everything from Ohtani you can think of.
So there is an Ohtani shrine, is what you're telling me, at River Oaks.
There's an Ohtani shrine. There's a Mickey Mantle shrine, Aaron Judge shrine, even Juan Soto now, the new Juan Soto edition.
Yeah, well, now he's a Yankee.
Right.
So that automatically qualifies him for that, right?
The new Juan Soto first game ever at Yankee Stadium jersey is at River Oaks.
That's good. I love that. Wow, very nice. Ronel Blanco gets a 10-game suspension for the sticky stuff. Did you like it? Did baseball do the right thing here, or did they get it wrong? What do you think?
It makes sense. I mean, the Astros found this guy at a car wash. He wasn't exactly pumping 95-mile-an-hour fastballs and throwing elite sliders to get no-hitters in MLB. He gets the sticky stuff, was pretty decent last year in the MLB, then goes off in spring training all of a sudden, starts going off in the MLB season. Sticky stuff. They say it's the stickiest thing they've ever seen. It doesn't just happen where one start he's like, oh, let me put all this sticky stuff on here. No, I mean, he had a really good start to the year, then maybe dipped a little bit, then he's saying, okay, I need to get back to that. Let's put even more sticky stuff now. And there you go, suspended, ejected, 10 games.
But you believe that this sticky stuff has been going on for a while because they check him out all the time. They just happen to find this in his glove, but the pitchers are still getting inspected by the umpires after every inning.
I think the pitching has dipped a little bit in the past few years because of something like this. I mean, guys are getting Tommy John more than often. When was the last time you heard of Sandy Alcantara after his great season? Haven't heard of him in a minute. A few other guys. But for Ronel Blanco, this suspension means that maybe his career, his no-hitter, a little bit invalidated.
Well, the reason you haven't heard about Sandy Alcantara is he's recovering from Tommy John surgery.
Which could be from not using sticky substances.
Or maybe it's from
that.
guys throwing too hard, where the pressure and force on their arms cannot take the velocity that they're trying to throw, and all these arms are breaking down. The Dodgers lost another one. Young Emmett Sheehan, who is one of their top pitching prospects, just underwent UCL surgery because, again, how many guys these days are trying to throw harder than their arms and their bodies can handle? You see it happen to everybody.
I think the sticky substances were a good help for that. Look at Garrett Cole, and never had injury his career. Now he's out this whole season. Walker Buehler, Max Scherzer. Those guys aren't exactly hard throwers like Garrett Cole, but still, maybe they're using sticky substances. Now they're not using it anymore. They haven't pitched in a while because of that.
Yeah, Walker Buehler was still throwing 96, 97 miles an hour. Isn't it crazy that you could talk about a guy throwing mid to upper 90s and say, nah, he's not throwing that hard. Maybe he's not Mason Miller, but still, these guys are still throwing the ball pretty hard.
We take for granted nowadays, like I think we take quarterbacks for granted. We take it for maybe kickers for granted because you see a 50-yard kick now, it's like, wow, that's really normal. If you see a 50-yard kick 10 years ago, it's like, wow, that guy's incredible. A little bit different in the game now. Quarterback throws the ball 70 yards. Okay, it's average. Quarterback throws the ball 70 yards back then. He's a superstar. He's the next Troy Aikman.
UTEP will be hosting the CUSA Volleyball Championships later this year. Reaction to that when you heard the news?
Heard the news right now. Really exciting for UTEP. You know, they have obviously a great run in the volleyball NIT tournament last year. Ben Wallace, we had him on here. Great coach. Exciting for the future of UTEP volleyball.
UTEP also held the track and field championships at Kidd Field this past weekend, and the Miners finished second behind Liberty. Seems like Liberty wins a lot, doesn't it?
They do. They've got a great NIL program. They've got great facilities. It's a good program there for Liberty. No reason UTEP shouldn't be better, and I think they will be.
Michigan will be selling beer at football games starting this season for the first time ever. What was your reaction when you heard the news?
You know, I don't have the biggest reaction. I'm only 16, but, you know, maybe when you make your way up to the big house for the Texas game, you'll be interested in that.
I probably would be. Matter of fact,
noon kickoff.
I don't care if it's a noon kickoff. It could be a 7 o'clock kickoff or a noon kickoff. If I'm at the big house and they're selling beer, yeah, sign me up.
You know, I'm frustrated that's a noon kickoff. I want that to be a night game. You know, it's September. Weather's nice. They have a week 1 night game, which I get. Make that into the noon game. Switch the Texas game to a night game. They won't do it. Fox gets the rights to this game, and they'll make it at noon.
If I show up to the big house for the Texas-Michigan game, am I wearing Texas gear, or will I be just destroyed in the process by every Michigan fan there in the house?
You know, it's funny because it's Michigan's maize-out game, so everybody's going to be wearing maize, and Texas orange might fit in with that.
Interesting. I never thought about that.
It's a great game. White maize out. You think of Penn State white out. Think of it way bigger. Michigan Stadium maize out pops out way more.
169 has dropped. Check it out. Schoolyard Sports, wherever you get your podcasts. Anything else we did not get a chance to cover over the last hour?
Don't think so. It's a great show. Thank you, everybody. Happy birthday.
Thank you very much. Great to see you, Lane. We'll talk to you next week. Take care of yourself, and we'll have some fun. Lane Frank, folks, joining us here on Sports Talk. We'll shift it over to EP Locomotive FC. It's next. Sports Talk continues. 600 ESPN El Paso. Welcome back, everybody. Start of our final hour as we get going here on Sports Talk. We've got a bunch of members of El Paso Locomotive FC. A bunch meaning 2. In fact, John Burklow liked being here so much the first time. He's back a second time around, and we appreciate that. And by the way, he's coming back off of a match in which he was on the sidelines as the acting head coach, and the team ended up winning 2-0 for their first victory of 2024. Coach, welcome back.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me.
It's good to see you, and coming back off a high point, which is nice. Hopefully, something that can kind of jumpstart this season for the team.
Yeah, no, I think we've all been kind of waiting for this moment, and I think each game the kind of pressure built and built and built for the team and for the staff, and so I think we getting that off our backs, I think hopefully now sets us up to really continue to take steps forward. So.
Was this your first ever win as acting head coach in USL Championship?
It was.
Okay. Which means in the record books, you're 1-0.
No, 1-1. I filled in last year for Brian, and unfortunately, that was not a good day for us. So that was away at Phoenix last year.
All right. Well, at least you're back to 500.
Good day,
There you go. I was hoping you were 1-0 because then you could always go down in the record books as being one of the only undefeated head coaches in the history of USL Championship soccer.
Yeah, no, I'm sure somebody out there has that. Some assistant coach has that, but yeah, no, I'm more than anything. I was happy to be a steward for Brian and help the team get their first victory in whatever way I could. And now I think the big thing for us is we want to take another step. So,
how many red cards do you get? One red card and you get suspended as a head coach? Is that how it works?
Yeah, any red card for player staff, you're suspended.
Oh, so for players, okay, that's what. But did he get yellows to equal a red, or did he just get teed up with a red card?
Honestly, I'm trying to remember. I think initially he came over for a yellow card, and then that was upgraded to a red. To be honest, I'm not exactly sure what the interaction was at the time. I don't think any of us were very thrilled with the ref during that game.
I'm sure not. Alberto is with us as well from El Paso Locomotive FC. Do you remember the situation or no?
Yeah, I mean, I was watching the game on TV, doing my job, writing, the reports. And, yeah, same as John here, is you couldn't really see it too much on broadcast with the initial interaction. I just saw the red card. I initially thought the first the first yellow card was for Calvillo. And I tweeted it out, yellow card for Calvillo. And I was like, oh, crap, that's not right.
It's for the coach. Yeah. It's for Brian. Hey, by the way, is soccer like every other sport that if you actually go after the match and you rip the officiating, they could fine and suspend you for that, or for the most part, do they give you guys some leeway?
I think there is a little bit of leeway where that line actually is. I'm not sure I have a great answer for, but yeah, I mean, I think there's a level of criticism that could be considered tolerated, but I think in general, the stance for the league, as with most leagues, is to kind of maybe keep that to a minimum. So.
You've had such a strange season in the fact that of your 7 losses, 6 of them have been by 1 goal. So you've been in almost every match, basically every match but one, all season long, which kind of makes you feel like, hey, if we can finally win one, which you did this past weekend, all of a sudden team finally gets that gets that win in the books, and now they can start getting some of that momentum back and get back up in the standings.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of kept the belief in the team alive, right? Like when we're not leaving games like, wow, we're just not very good, we're getting killed here. We're going into, after every game, losing off of moments, not because of a bad performance. The performances outside of a couple, I think we're not like thrilled with, but have been good enough to get us more points than we have. And so now to get that win and kind of get the monkey off your back, you could see a little bit of a looser group. And with the talent we have, I know we're going to have a better season as we continue to go, especially now that we've got that first one. And so now I think the group is excited to get out and play again.
Yeah, sometimes you're right. It just takes one. And you tell me, what was that locker room like when you came back after beating Loudoun 2-0 and getting a chance to really celebrate with the club? Was it something that you guys haven't done all season? So it probably was a little bit of a different feeling in that locker room, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't misery. So I think every game before that, you're walking into a locker room of a group of guys that are upset, a group of guys that are maybe in a little bit of disbelief because, like I said, in a lot of these games we've played well enough to get more results than we have. But I think after this it was tempered excitement. The guys, we've got an experienced group of guys with a lot of experience in this league. And so of course there's excitement to finally get that win, but I also think it's a group that knows the job's not done. Like it's one win. Yeah. Let's be excited. Let's be happy about it. Brian's message this week was, hey, it's awesome. But once we're done with the video, it's done and over with. We've got to move on to the next step. So,
was Brian able to be in the building for the match, just not out on the pitch?
Correct. So Brian was with us leading up through the entire week. Of course, he's and we're prior to the game. Of course, it's us putting together his game plan and going through the different ideas and the different things that could happen. He was in the stands during the game. And then, of course, after the game, he was with us in the locker room. So.
Oh, great. So I've always wondered how that works. So if you are not able to be on the sidelines, you could still go into the stands and watch the game almost as a spectator.
Correct. Yeah.
Yep, that's right.
I like that's a really good rule.
Yeah,
it's not like you have to be banned from the arena or the stadium altogether. which is nice.
Oh yeah, it's really nice. It's really convenient for the team to have Brian's presence still there in with you guys. I mean, John could probably speak more on this than me because this is his profession.
No, and I think that's the one thing I want to iterate here is ultimately I was a steward for Brian. That's how I feel as an assistant. For me, I've always felt my job is to help bring out Brian's vision for the team. Brian was with us through the entire week. Brian traveled with us. Brian's the one that talked to the team in the hotel, and we went through video. So, as much as Brian wasn't there on the sideline, Brian was there.
You could tell, like everything on the field was a product of the work that Brian put in.
Sure. What were you more pleased with? The offensive effort, the 90-plus minutes of complete soccer?
90-plus minutes of complete soccer. I think we haven't done that, right? There's been games where we've scored enough goals to win, but defensively we've had lapses. There's been games where, defensively we've done enough to win, but we haven't quite put the ball in the net. So it was a very complete performance by the group as our first shutout of the year, which of course for me is makes me happy. But to also get multiple goals in the game and win by more than one goal and allow some comfort was of course really pleasing. But I think over the beginning of the game, what we talked about was 95 minutes mentality, 10 out of 10. Like that's what has to be right to make sure we get 3 points, and the boys did that. So we were really pleased.
This sport can be cruel. You can dominate a match and still lose, and that we've seen that at times this season. But as you've watched this team progress and try to overcome the slow start and pick things up now here in the summer months of May, June, July, are you starting to now see the kind of progress that makes you feel like this team is going to start stringing together some dubs?
Yeah, the thing for me, I think we felt like that the whole year. Like, even though the results have been, depressing, again, the performances have been good enough. And when you looked at the expected points for the league, based on our performances, we should be sixth in the West. That's what the expected points is. Yeah. So we felt that way the entire time. My trust in this staff, my trust in these group of players is never kind of wavered. We know we're good enough to get going. And hopefully, again, this was the step we needed to kind of get that pressure off our shoulders. And now we can really get ourselves in a position to capitalize on the talent that we do have in the group.
Assistant coach John Berklow joining us right now, along with Alberto Huichapa from El Paso Locomotive FC as we continue. As far as goal scorers, are we starting now to see players that are getting the ball in the back of the net more frequently? We all felt like this season, if you can just start to get more and more players that can find the net and get and start scoring goals, the defense will take care of itself.
No, exactly. The way you attack is going to affect the way you defend, and of course, when you're struggling in front of goal, the back line feels that, and everyone's a little bit tighter in moments. So I think the group has, especially the forwards, all of the guys that we were expecting and hoping to be able to score a lot of goals for us, they all have a goal now, right? Like Joaquin's come in, he scored against New Mexico. JD's got a goal. Amando, of course, has several goals, and now we've got Toomey on the scoreboard. So a lot of especially for forwards, they'll all tell you it's all confidence. And so to get that first one, it's that relief and so now the guys can really feel like, okay, I've got that off my shoulders. I can really settle in and be who I am and play as well as I know I can play.
And you've been making roster additions during this run as well. You're not afraid to pick somebody up or make a move if it needs to, because you realize that, hey, if there's somebody out there that we can add to this mix and really help the club out, we got to go ahead and pull the trigger.
Yeah, that never stops. We're always, it's part of my daily routine, it's part of the staff's daily routine. We're contacted consistently by agents and players that want to be a part of this group. And so, yeah, we're always on the lookout for, that piece that can come in and help improve the group. And we'll see if we can find the right guy. I think that's the big thing, right? We need to find the right guy. It's not just about having somebody that's talented. It's somebody that's going to be able to come in and fit in the locker room. And as much as they have talent, they need to make sure we want to make sure that they've got the character to be part of the group, so that when we hit hard times, we've got players that we know can respond.
Well, it's funny because you've mentioned names like Justin Dillon, Joaquin Rivas, Toomey, who was with us here not that long ago. I think is Ricardo Zacharias the only forward on the roster that was here last season?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. So Ricardo Zacharias, who we're hopeful to get back. He's got a bit of a calf injury that he's been dealing with the last couple of weeks. He's close, so maybe 2 weeks away, hopefully. And then, we're hopeful to get him back and hopefully get him on the scoreboard soon as well.
But you're talking about 4 forwards that weren't here a year ago, and it does sometimes take a little more time to get acclimated to the style, the club, everything about what they're coming into. And I think it's important to note that because the last 3 or 4 seasons, all these guys played together. There were very few forwards that were newcomers to that roster. So you really were kind of leaning on some of the same names that had been, the team's leading goal scorers and point scorers these last 3-4 years. So now all of a sudden, this season's different. This season, you're really giving some new blood the opportunity to become those offensive leaders here for El Paso Locomotive FC.
No, 100%. We knew we were bringing in players with experience in the league and who've been successful in putting the ball in the back of the net. But so much of this, particularly as you reach the final third, so much of this is instinctual and understanding how the guy next to me plays and understanding, hey, this guy's always going to fake a cross before he serves it. No, this guy's always going to serve it early. And so those little things take time for players to understand. It takes time for guys, he likes the ball. He's going to make this run consistently. It takes time for guys to figure that out. And that's not an excuse for us. I mean, the bottom line is we want to win. The expectation on this team and this club and the players is high, and it should be high. But at the same time, we need to be realistic at the fact that, these things take time, and it's maybe taken longer than we would have liked. But we know that we're going to get there.
Hey, you overhaul the roster, especially on the offensive side. Yes, sometimes we were always told, it was interesting, years ago when Mark Lowry was here for the first couple of years, he always told us that, look, guys, when it comes to the offense, that's the last piece of the puzzle. He said that, defensively, he expects things early on, but when it comes to really the team clicking offensively and putting the ball in the back of the net, sometimes that will take the longest when you talk about the whole process of really putting a quality team out on the pitch night after night.
Yeah, it's always much easier to destroy than it is to create, right? Mm-hmm. Creation always takes time. And so, we knew that was going to be the case. And the defensive side of the game is always a little bit cleaner than it is, in terms of, hey, be tight, stay together, right? It's a bit different when you're on the other side of the ball and you're trying to disorganize and pull a team apart because there's instinct involved there, there's pattern recognition involved there, and that's going to take time for the players to get in sync with each other.
All right, we got a big match coming up tomorrow night for El Paso night. When we return, Alberto's going to tell us all about the jersey drop that happened last night. A brand new jersey. We've got flags. We got a lot going on here with El Paso Locomotive FC. We'll do that next as Sports Talk continues. 600 ESPN El Paso. Back here on Sports Talk, 22 now past the hour. We got Coach Burklow, Alberto with us as well with El Paso Locomotive FC. They're back home tomorrow night. It's El Paso night. It's going to be Memphis in town as well. This is going to be a big one, folks. You're not going to want to miss this 7 o'clock kickoff with Memphis 901 FC on Flag Night. And not only is it Flag Night, but we have a brand new jersey that was revealed last night. A lot of people talking about that jersey, Alberto.
Yeah, man, it's really popular. I mean, the reaction to the jersey has been highly positive. People are loving it. I was telling John earlier before this show, before we came on, it even appeared on some circles in France, which is interesting.
Really?
Yeah, Locomotive's gone global, man. What can I say?
Tell me about the Sun City kit for people that don't know, especially for those that are used to the blue color scheme all these years. Now we've gone orange, different shades, and just kind of a tribute to El Paso.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's pretty normal for soccer teams around the world to have like an alternate third jersey that, strays away from the club's branding, and we knew we wanted something that represented El Paso. And, our graphic designer being a native El Pasoan herself, brought up the idea of the sun. It's something that El Pasoans love. I mean, it's why it's called the Sun City. The sun shines approximately 300 days a year across the landscape here in El Paso. They said, yeah, that's a good idea. So for those who haven't seen it, I'm going to describe it to you, but check it out on our Instagram, EP Locomotive FC. It's a yellow-orange gradient. It starts, pretty bright up top, runs down to a darker shade of orange. It's sun rays that run across the chest, something. It's a pretty common sight for lots of El Pasoans. And for people like me and John, who aren't from El Paso, who have moved here, have come to kind of, adore and admire and love about the city of El Paso. That sun, especially the sunrises, sunsets. I mean, John, I'm sure you love those sunsets and sunrises too.
Yeah, no, that's probably one of my favorite things here is when the sun sets here and you see that the oranges and the pinks that come out. It's funny. My daughter today was asking me why the sky was blue, and I didn't have an answer. So we watched a YouTube video and why it's blue. So it was really interesting. So I could actually tell you guys why it gets fiery like that if you wanted. So.
Oh, well, you don't have to send us the link. But for sure, the kit, people love it because it's something that people here grew up, seeing every day on their daily commutes. Or just standing outside of the house, it's something that identifies with the people of El Paso, and that's why reaction and reception of the jersey has been extremely positive.
And those kits are not only going to be worn tomorrow, but they're also going to be available as well.
Yeah, so they're going to be initially available at Southwest University Park at tomorrow's game. So anyone that wants to get their hands on one, make sure you get a ticket and swing by Southwest University Park to get yourself a jersey. And then, there's a limited supply, so it's possible it could sell out. And then at a later date, we'll announce a wider general public and online release. So initially available for purchase at Southwest University Park tomorrow, and then details on further wider release to come soon.
So in other words, if you try to buy them on the team shop online, no. You got to get them.
They're not online right now. You have to go in person.
Got to get them in person.
Yeah, for now.
7 o'clock kick tomorrow. And also the flags, which really are kind of corresponding to the new jerseys, aren't they?
Yeah, man. We just took the design off the jersey and just slapped that on that flag. And we really just want to orange out the park is what we've been saying throughout the week. So we doubled up. So usually we give out 1,500 flags at games. This time we're giving out 3,000. We really want to make sure as many fans as possible have one of these flags and are waving it around at the game. A lot of our season ticket members already have theirs, so they're got their hands already full with flags. So it's going to be exciting to see the stadium oranged out with all these flags and the orange kits. And there's other things that we're going to be offering too. I'm sure you're going to bring up like the food that we're offering. We're introducing some new specialty food items like Vampiro burgers, Franklin mountain fries, which are a way of creatively naming some loaded fries that we're introducing to the menu. A concha sundae looked very sweet for me. I don't know if I could eat it all, but maybe I'll have a bit. And then a birria torta, which is the one I'm hearing is going to be extremely, extremely popular.
All right, now hang on. You're overloading me with information I was not prepared for. I thought all we were doing was talking about jerseys and flags. I did not realize there was going to be an entire food reveal going on tomorrow. There's a lot of stuff. Slow it down. Tell me exactly what we're talking about food-wise tomorrow.
For sure. I mean, everyone that's been to Southwest University Park, we're going to have the same food options we've always had. You know, the classics, the hot dogs, turkey legs, the burgers that are popular there. But then these, like I just mentioned, we have the Vampiro burger.
The Vampiro burger.
Yeah, it's just a massive
hot burger.
Yeah.
It's a massive burger.
Yeah, it's a massive hot burger, man.
Okay, so there's a Vampiro burger. What else?
The Franklin mountain fries, which are just loaded fries.
Okay.
Loaded steak fries. But, we got to give them a cool name that resonates to El Paso. It's El Paso Nights. It's got to make sense.
Gotcha.
The concha sundae. I don't know if you were familiar with a concha. I'm sure you might be, John. I'm not sure. I'm sure you are.
Yes.
So it's ice cream sundae on top of a concha.
Nice.
And then there's the birria torta. The one that I'm hearing is going to be the most popular because, tortas are popular. Birria is popular. You're combining these two together and it's just a magical creation.
Hang on, Alberto's got a big smile on his face.
What's up, Alberto?
Yeah, tortas are really good. I'm really excited for that. I think that's what I'm going to get tomorrow. What's
going to be in the torta? What are they going to have?
It's just birria. It's just birria and cheese. Yeah. We keep it simple. And
that's good.
Yeah. Because, if you start adding all this stuff, some people might not want to order it. So we'll keep it simple for the fans. And if they want additional toppings, they can request them.
And the food's only going to be available tomorrow night. That's it, because it's El Paso night. So the idea is give us a nice El Paso theme. So if you try to show up after tomorrow expecting the same food, good luck.
Nope. Yep. These are limited food options, limited time only at Southwest University Park. So if you're there, make sure to enjoy them.
7 o'clock kick.
Exactly.
And more than anything else, a chance to see this team try to extend that winning streak on their home field. John, we don't need to reiterate this for very long, but the truth is winning on the road is nice because a win's a win, but doing it in front of your fans on your home pitch, that is something completely different, isn't it?
No, absolutely. And in the time I've been here, we haven't done it nearly enough. So we want nothing more. The players want nothing more. The staff wants nothing more than this, be able to celebrate with our fans. So, come on out, guys. We need you. The team always needs these guys. We always get great support, and hopefully again we'll be celebrating with you guys after 3 points.
How's the health for the team right now?
Yeah, we're close. We're doing really well. There's a few guys. I think we're at 3 guys that are still not quite there. Arun Vasiljevic is close after coming off of a bit of a hamstring injury. Ricardo Zacharias has a bit of a calf injury, and then we're still dealing with some lingering things with Petter. But other than that, we're pretty healthy. And so the staff is quite happy with that, especially given the start to our season and the amount of games. So yeah, we're ready to go.
Yeah, excellent. Tough. And as far as the flags go, first 1,500 fans get a flag?
First 3,000.
3,000, yeah. Even better.
So doubling them up, man.
Yeah, that's good. So get those flags while you have them, and get the jerseys while you can. Enjoy the food, and let's come home with 3 points, boys. What do you say?
Hey, man, let's get those 3 points, John.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you both for being here.
Yeah, no, appreciate you.
I appreciate you, man.
John Berklow with us, along with Alberto Huichapa, and hey, great to see you guys. And I like the fact you're growing your hair out right now.
Bangs out, man.
Yeah, you're growing out the bangs.
It's because
the mustache
I had the part going, but then my girlfriend said my hairline was receding. I had to bring the hair back down.
That's good. So now now you're changed. So the team is changing their look for tomorrow, and you're changing yours as well. It continues to evolve.
Exactly. You gotta
does the girlfriend like the bangs?
No, she said it looks sloppy and messy. But you know what?
Did you tell her?
I look younger in my eyes, so that's what matters to me.
Did you say, listen, it's either sloppy or messy or receding hairline. Take your pick. You can't have them both.
Exactly.
All right.
That's exactly what I said to her.
I stay with what you got.
Exactly.
You know what?
Yeah.
Do that. And by the way, tell her you're not going to cut your hair.
Maybe I'll trim it up a little bit, but right now this is just the look I'm gonna keep for now. It's
Yeah.
a little scruffy. I like the scruffiness.
You know what I want? I want this team to be on a winning streak, and then you tell your girlfriend, I'm not touching my hair as long as this streak's going on.
I'll see if I work up the courage for that.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to work up the courage for you, bud. So yeah.
Please. Oh my God.
All right. Good job, guys. We'll talk to you again. El Paso Locomotive FC tomorrow night. Memphis in the house, 7:00. That game will get kicked off. We'll come back with more as we say hello one more time to Michael Plundo, who has this bottom of the hour Sports Center update. And here, 33 now past the hour. Man, Rangers making it tough on themselves, down 3-1 to Carolina. This is turning into an absolute calamity for the Blue Shirts, who had a 3-0 lead, and now are falling behind again and starting to look like they're not going to be able to finish off Carolina. In fact, quite the opposite. Could find themselves in a position to lose this series. They just lost an opportunity to try to get within a goal on a breakaway, and the fans are excited. The Rangers are reeling. 3-1 the score. Not looking good unless you're a Carolina Hurricanes fan. In that case, you're thrilled. Or you just hate the Rangers, and then you're really thrilled.
I just got to say, the New York Rangers are living their worst nightmare. They were up 3-0 in this series, and now they're just letting the Carolina Hurricanes creep up, and they look like they could tie the series. I mean, a 2-goal lead is a very dangerous lead. Let's not forget that here. The Rangers can still come back and pull this out, but it's not looking good right now, Steve.
This is what happens. This is the great lesson you learn in sports, that when you've got a team on the ropes, you have to deliver the knockout blow. Because if you don't, all of a sudden, you give a team that's good life, they come right back and get themselves into this series. It's exactly what Carolina is doing. And trust me if I'm telling you this. If the Rangers blow this series and lose it in 7 to the Hurricanes and lose 2 of those last 4 games on their home ice, that could be the end of a lot of things with that coaching staff and the team itself.
I agree, and I think another interesting storyline here that people are overlooking before the series started is look at the head coach of the New York Rangers, Peter Laviolette. If you remember closely, back in 2000, I think it was 2005 or 2006, he helped get the Hurricanes a Stanley Cup, and now he's coaching against that team in the playoffs in the second round here. And another crazy storyline here, too. The Carolina Hurricanes head coach, Rob Brindamore, a Hall of Famer, was on that team when the Hurricanes won. Would you look at that?
That's a very good point. Very, very good point. So, once again, you talk about it as a head coach, but he's been successful. That being said, the last time he took a team to the conference finals was 2016 with Nashville. And that's when they lost to Pittsburgh in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yep, I remember that very well. That was a fun years for the Penguins, going back-to-back, beating the Sharks in 2016 and then 2017, beating Nashville in Nashville. Those were the fun times, Steve, for sure.
Just realized this, too, about Peter Laviolette, okay? He missed the playoffs in 3 of his 5 seasons with Carolina, okay, or 4 of his 5 seasons in Carolina. So they won the Cup, beat Edmonton in 05-06, but since then he's been in Philly, had 3 out of 4 years in the postseason, never won the Stanley Cup, went to the finals, lost to Chicago, went to Philadelphia, to Nashville, spent I believe 6 or 7 seasons in Nashville.
Yep.
Fired his last season, so it doesn't really count, but he went to the playoffs every other year, but never won a Stanley Cup, lost to the finals against Pittsburgh, then goes to Washington, spends 3 seasons in Washington, takes him to the playoffs 2 of those 3 years, misses the playoffs, then goes to the Rangers, and man, oh man, if you win the President's Cup and then you get swept 4 straight to lose from Carolina, I don't know if there'll be a second season in New York for Peter Laviolette. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
I don't know either. I think, but here's the question, Steve. Is there a legit option out there right now that would really take the New York Rangers to the next level? I mean,
no, of course not.
I mean, there's Sheldon Keefe out there, but look at his tenure with the Toronto Maple Leafs. I mean, is that something really you want to be excited about if you bring him in?
I mean, listen, I don't think there's anybody. Look, Peter Laviolette has experience, and he's won a cup. Yep. So, I mean, they're going with probably the best option. But the sad part is they can't stop the bleeding. This is one of those situations to where they had the momentum, they lost the momentum, and now they can't recover again. It's like this team has been shell-shocked the last couple of games.
Yeah, the Rangers, I mean, not only just now, they've had some heartbreaking playoff losses. I mean, look at last year against the Devils. I mean, they took a commanding 2-0 lead over them to start, and then just the rest of the series,
That's right.
Igor Shesterkin, I felt bad for him. He just got no help on the back end at all. And the Rangers, as a result, they collapsed, and the Devils were able to, pick apart them and dissect them, and the Devils, they took the series in 7.
I'm starting to look like we could see this same thing happening this time with Carolina. It's pretty crazy. So we'll see.
Yep.
All right. 38 past the hour as we continue here on Sports Talk. We'll take a timeout, come back, wrap it up next on our final countdown. You're listening to 600 ESPN El Paso. Final countdown here in our final 15 minutes of the show. Let's finish strong. Alberto, Michael, you guys have been listening for this last, hour and 45 minutes. It's featured Lane Frank. It's featured John Burklow, along with Alberto Huichapa from El Paso Locomotive FC. What do you guys want to hit on in the last 15 minutes of the show? I'll give you guys the option to pick the topics, and then we'll go from there.
I got a good topic that I think could be a nice discussion here.
Good. I mean, the show's almost over, so I want to hear what you want to talk about now. What are we going to touch on?
Let's talk about some football. I want you guys to think of a team that finished last in their division that you think has a great chance of going from last to first this upcoming season.
Okay, I think that's a great topic. I like that, and I'll be the first to tell you, based on last season, if I had to look at everybody right now, last to first, the easy answer would be the Chargers, even though they're in the same division as the Chiefs. I'll go Cincinnati Bengals.
I like it. That's a great one. Healthy Joe Burrow coming back. I mean, why not?
Yep. What about you guys? What are you thinking?
This is a tough one. I'm looking at a lot of these divisions, and a lot of these teams that finished last, a lot of them got better, but they're just in such competitive divisions that I don't know if I can trust them to fully take a leap. But if I had to guess, I'm probably going to go with the Washington Commanders for a couple reasons. You got your hopeful franchise quarterback now with Jaden Daniels. They got a new foundation in place, new owner, new GM, new everything at the top. And I honestly think the Commanders are a better better team than the Giants. I'm not really high on the Giants this year, and I don't think they're going to have a good season. And that's why I think the Commanders will jump them. But I could be wrong, and, the Commanders just finished with 4 wins like they did this past year, and we'll all laugh at me. So we'll see.
All right, so you'll go Commanders. That was not the answer I was expecting from you, Plundo. Not at all, but I like it. Alberto, what about you?
Well, I was going to go Jets. It didn't even finish at the bottom of their division, so I'm going to have to go. I kind of fiddled through the rest of these, and the only one that I could see really happening, because, look, the Patriots, Drake May's not him. The Chargers, that you had the Chiefs. You're not beating them. I doubt you're beating them once, let alone twice. The Bengals, you still have the Ravens, the Steelers, and the Browns. That's a hard division. In my opinion, coming as a Steelers fan, that's the hardest division in football. So what I was going to say was I'm going to go with the Bears.
It's a good pick.
Yeah, they went 7-10. I mean, there's a lot of talent in that one, but if you want to really gamble, take that one.
That's a very interesting gamble because because I think the Bears could still finish last.
I do too.
Will.
I do too. I mean, I've had a hard time, trusting the Bears. I thought they would take a step forward last season with the improvements that they made, but I just think coaching isn't there. I don't know if Matt Eberflus is really the guy for Caleb Williams. I'm sorry.
What about this pick? Okay. What about the Carolina Panthers? If Bryce Young makes a jump his sophomore year, they addressed receiver and running back, gave him a couple more tools in the draft. They also went defense. And most important, that whole division sucks. There is nobody good in the NFC South to think, well, they can't beat this team. I mean, what, the Falcons, the Saints, the Bucks? I mean, could there possibly be an overnight turnaround with the Panthers just because that division is so terrible?
Well, look, I mean, I think there is reason for the Carolina Panthers to take a step forward. First, starting off with the fact that they had 2 wins last year, and I think they're a much better team than they were last year. I mean, you go out, you acquire Deontay Johnson from the Steelers, you get Xavier Legette in the first round that you traded up for, you add Robert Hunt and Damian Lewis to an offensive line. Just Robert Hunt. But I don't know if I can trust just the Carolina team in general. New head coach coming in, don't know what to expect with Dave Canales, and you already got tension already with the ownership and David Tepper and a bad relationship there. So we'll see how it works because Bryce Young was thrown into the fire last year, and we'll see if the damage has been done already.
Yeah, it's fair. I mean, they have Andy Dalton and Jack Plummer behind them, so it's not exactly like it's quarterbacks waiting to step up and take this team to the postseason.
Oh, no.
So. Yeah, it's Bryce Young's team. But you're right. I'm not ready to call Bryce Young a bust. I mean,
absolutely not.
Give him weapons, give him a line, and then let's see what he can do.
I mean, look at his situation last year. I mean, he was pretty much thrown in the fire with one of the worst offensive lines in the league. His best receiver was a 33-year-old Adam Thielen who had a lot of trouble creating separation last year. So, I think Bryce Young can take a step. The pieces are there, but we'll see. New head coach, you don't know what to expect.
What about this story, guys? Yeah, I saw this earlier. This is ridiculous, but it's so crazy. Do you know that apparently the NFL admitted that they had to take Taylor Swift's tour dates in the U.S. into effect when making the 2024 season schedule?
For what reason? You wanted to have him around or away from the games?
No, listen to this. Question. Swift is set to have concerts at Hard Rock Stadium, home of the Dolphins, 3 days in a row from Friday, October 18th through Sunday, October 20th. Then she's going to New Orleans for 3 days of shows at Caesars Superdome, the Saints home field, from Friday, October 25th through Sunday, October 27th. And the final leg goes to Indy and Lucas Oil Stadium from Friday the 1st to Sunday the 3rd. Meaning, because of those concerts, the NFL couldn't put home games at those stadiums and had to juggle things up just to make sure Swift's concerts were going to be held.
I would love to see the just direct number statistical comparison between the revenue generated from an NFL game on a Sunday and the money generated by a Taylor Swift concert at those concerts. I wonder what the figure is and which one's more financially beneficial to the owner of the facility. So that doesn't surprise me. Taylor Swift is massive, and like you said, she has like 3 concerts in a row at these places. My question, especially for the Miami stadium, is how is it going to playing surfaces? Are they going to cover it? Are they going to move the grass? Do they have one of those where the grass moves in and out? Because if she does three days at the concerts there, she's going to decimate playing surfaces. And how much turnaround time do you have to fix it?
So normally what they do is they would either cover or remove the turf. That's just how it goes. Like in some of these places, they're artificial, so it doesn't really matter. Then you just cover it.
But I think Miami is a real
natural
grass, I believe. Yeah. So you're covering real grass for 3 days.
Or is it removable? I'm not sure if it's removable. That's a good question.
Is removable, well, now you're removing it and putting it back. How is that going to affect, like I said, the playing surfaces, and that affects how guys run and how they get. Everything.
Good point.
It's the whole aspect.
So what you're saying is, if the NFL goes wrong for those teams, like Miami if it has a bad run, it's Taylor Swift's fault that they've had a tough time at home.
No, I'm saying if they're not careful there at those venues with their playing surfaces, they're going to decimate them as they do regularly in Liga MX and all over Mexico. Estadio Azteca will host a huge concert for a couple days, and then you'll see on the pictures of the field, and it's just absolutely done in, and it's hard to come back from that, and it affects quality of play.
Yeah, hopefully they figured out a way to make it work, right? Hopefully there's a way to do that.
I'm sure they have.
So bad.
I'm sure they have. I'm sure they have something figured out.
Maybe we need to get somebody on from Hard Rock Stadium to talk about that and let us know from the grounds crew how that's going to be handled.
Because we're really worried about the grass.
We are worried. All right. Hey, speaking of this, the show's over, folks. Great job today. Way to go, guys. Alberto, Michael, thanks for holding the fort down. Thank you all for listening. It's been a lot of fun for us. Adrian will be back tomorrow. We're also going to have some guests on the show tomorrow, including Brent Dean from Beimel Elite Athletics. He's going to be dropping by at 6. And, of course, Story Time with Hags, getting us ready for the Chihuahuas and Las Vegas. It's coming up an hour from now, right here on your home for Chihuahuas baseball, 600 ESPN El Paso.